Today we are going to talk about creating interactive virtual tours. And the tools that we will focus on in today's session, we will use a smartphone to create the images, and we will use the Street View app, Google Street View. It's a free app, and I will be able to share my phone screen as we do that. And the other tech tool that we're going to focus on is called Orbix 360. And it's a free tool. In the earlier sessions I offered, we looked at the Kula app, Kuula, and that's a great app, but the free version, we discovered that even though you can create hotspots, they were not available on a public display of your tour, so you can share it privately. So although Orbix isn't as robust, I think being able to have the ability to create hotspots is really critical. And so this allows us to do that. I'm also going to share, I thought we might have gotten a few more students enrolled in this workshop, so I kind of avoided using ThingLink. ThingLink has a free version for instructors, not for students. So I will also demonstrate that. I did create a tour. So inside of this UB Learns course, there's an introduction to immersive technologies. There are videos from the winter workshop series. Information for today's session is in a folder called Creating Interactive 360 Virtual Tours. Interactive is the key term here. And this is the tour. So if I just kind of scroll around, I can find, these images were taken with a smartphone. We'll go through those steps. I can look at the images in 360 and I will see different hotspots. So I can click on those hotspots, and some of them are just information. So if you click on the icons, one of the things that's not that great about Orbix is the hotspots are not as noticeable depending on what place you have them put. So people actually have to dig around. So my office is back here. And the objective of this little tour is to find the Level Up new lab at UB. And so it says, sorry, the sports arena is not this way. Keep looking. So we're going to click here to go back to this place that we were. And there's more information that says the service desk is here. It's just an introduction to the tour. And then this is the direction towards Level Up. We're going to go this way. This will take us back to where we were. We can look around. You actually need to exit the library. And you can go this way. It says this is the way to the student union. So it's not the Level Up that we're looking for. This is the computer lab inside of Level Up. So we can enter here. So if you go inside, this is kind of just a basic computer lab. And you can go to the lockers if you go down that way. This is the print station. And then this is where you get to the Level Up gaming arena. So I actually forgot to take the hallway picture when I was there the first time. That's pretty impressive in its own rights. There's the lockers. There's a staff member and the help desk. You can also go in this direction. So there is the pod section. And you can also navigate using these links at the bottom. A couple of people here, Steve and Jay, we've been talking about using escape rooms. And so, you can link to different pages or at least give people instructions on how to get there. Something that is on the horizon for Orbix is to put a linkable URL in the information and also an image. So that's something that we can't do in this tool, but we can do that in the ThingLink. And so I'm back out in the hallway. And then this is the game arena. And you can go back out to the hallway. So that's what we will try to create. We are going to use the Google Street View app.
Okay.
You're welcome to just kind of view. I will share my screen, or you can actually download the app. You can also skip this portion of it, and I'll give you images that you can upload. So now you should see my phone.
Yep.
And we are going to find the Street View app. And quick to find apps. I have a ton of apps, as you can see. So a quick way you can find an app is to go just to pull down on your home screen on an iPhone and start to type the name of the app, and it will show up. If you have not installed it yet, you can just go to the App Store and find it that way as well. So once you have the app installed, this is the screen that you'll see. And the little orange icon in the bottom right corner, if you click on that, that will give you the choices. You can link to a 360 camera. So the Silverman libraries do have a 360 camera. Actually, they have a couple 360 cameras that are able to be reserved and checked out. If you go to the library's website, under the equipment loans, you can look for the 360, and they have 2 of them now, I believe. And so you can link to certain cameras. I believe that the ones that the library has are able to be connected. You can import 360 photos if you've taken them with something else. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a photosphere.
Yeah, so since you can import 360 videos, I'm assuming if you were able to find some good quality ones out on the internet that were copyright free, you'd be able to download those and create your own tours if you wanted to have students tour areas you might not necessarily have access to.
That's definitely correct. And I will share a few catalogs of 360 images. The Penn State libraries have a really nice collection of images. Also, the Western New York Library Resources Council has a collection of media that they are beginning to share. And yeah, any 360 image that you can find either online that you know you have the right to use, you're welcome to use that. Some of the ThingLink, which is the tool that I enjoy more, but it's not available for students at a low cost. So I kind of tried to focus on Orbix. They have images built into the platform that you can use. So we'll explore that too. To take the image on the Google Street View app, all you need to do is keep moving your phone and focus on these little orange dots that show up. And I don't even have to hit the button. It is automatically taking the image each time I move around. So I'm going to take a shot with this down here.
How the actors come.
And it's also, it's not perfect. A 360 camera will do a much better job. Another feature that this free version of Orbix doesn't do, it doesn't let you upload a 360 video. It lets you upload 360 images. ThingLink will let you put 360 videos up there. So since I'm on a tethered connection, I have a 10-foot cable connected between my computer and the phone. I keep turning directions, so it doesn't really matter which way you go. And the quicker you do it, the kind of the worse your quality is. There's a little in the bottom left corner, there's an undo button. So if I didn't like that last image, I can undo it and try again. And you notice I got my foot in there, so I can kind of, well, that actually was undo it. So I'm going to try to do that one again and step back a little further. And sometimes you just got to deal with the feet.
So Robin, when this creates the video, obviously you can get the 2D version on a phone or a computer screen. Is there like a 3D immersive version if you're wearing like a headset or like Google Cardboard or something like that?
Yes, so I do have I have a cardboard in this room here. And a plastic one. And it will work with these types of devices. I don't know about Oculus. And Steve, if you discover that, you can maybe tell me. I don't have access to it, but inside of this here, I do have the tour loaded up.
So once you're done, how do you serve this? Do you like upload it to YouTube and people can do it that way, or is it a different service?
This one happens to be cloud-based, so it is a web page address. So I can, put the full address here in the chat. But I also made a bit.ly link.
Okay. So in theory, if you're in an Oculus, you could just open the web browser in the Oculus and hop in that way.
Yeah, is there anything special to creating a Oculus? Or would is it just through the browser and it picks up the motion, or is there anything special?
I haven't really used very much of the browser-based video. So I'm not sure. I've been doing mostly the immersive apps, so I'd have to check that out.
Yeah, so that's something I'm interested to know. If you check it out, definitely let me know. I'm pretty sure it does, but I haven't tried it myself. But there is this little icon on the screen that looks like the icon that looks like the cardboard. Do you see it on your screen? And so that lets you view it in full screen. And when you're looking at it through the cardboard, it gives you the dual pictures. So I'm pretty sure it works on Oculus and gives you that extra depth if you click this icon.
Okay, yeah, they have the stereoscopic view.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
So here, once you're logged in, you'll see your picture up in the top right corner. And you can explore some of the ones that they have. And you can also go to My Orbs, and that'll show the tours that you've created. There is a big Create New button in the top right. And you can hit Create New. I've found that using it with 360 images seems to be working better than the other choices. And I'm just going to call this workshop test. And then you select the files you want to use. And you can upload 5 files at a time. And if you have your own image, you can use your own image. You can also use the images that I shared in that chat. And I'm just going to show these as icons so you can see them a little better. So this is the hallway. We'll just work with that one for now. You can select up to 5 at a time. And once you select them, you hit create. One of the other features of this free version of Orbix is that all of your tours are public. So I'm going to add a second image so we have something to go back and forth between. And as I'm here, I'm going to label this. We'll call this hallway. And I'm going to add another image. And so I'm just going to go over the different types. The 360 image has been working well. Stereoscopic images and 180 if you only have half of a room. You can also do a flat image. So if you wanted to do a tour and you just have a basic photograph, You can also do that. They don't have to be 360. And also panorama images. Your phones take the panorama, so you can use that as well. So I'm going to select one more image. Good one. Output 1 is the lab. So I'm going to upload that one. Yesterday, I had one image. It got stuck uploading. So I just closed the browser tab and went back in. And I was able to get unstuck. So this is the lab. Sorry, I think I went too fast on that one. So when you're in Orbix, you see if you're clicking on the edit pencil, that opens up this panel, and organize scenes lets you organize the different images that you've used. So we'll call this one the lab. And you can move them up or down. So if we want to start in the lab and then go out to the hallway, we can do that. And then you can close using the X or the close button. And then the next choice is to create a navigation hotspot. So if we click on the navigation hotspot, it shows us the images that we have. Sometimes it takes the renaming a second to catch up. So we're in the hallway, so we can't add that as a hotspot. But it does give us a little plus sign next to the lab picture. So I'm going to click the plus sign. I can then move that where I want it to go and close. And then when I test it, I can hit the hotspot and it takes me back. So now I want to actually go back. This is the door back into the hallway. So I am going to escape and go back into edit mode. I'm going to add a hotspot on that door. So I'm going to hit navigation hotspots. And I'm in the lab. And so I want to add a hotspot for to go back into the hall. And then I can test it out. So now I can go back and forth between the two. So it's very, very basic. You can also add information. So if I wanted to describe that this is a cleaning station, I can click info hotspot. And then you can put information here. And then you can pick that up and move it where you want it to go.
Robin, what is the rotation? What is that?
Orb rotation, which makes it automatically move. And that is not good for accessibility. Many people want to be in control.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't like using that much. You can put sound in, but then it automatically plays. I would like to be able to click on these little information and have those play audio. Again, that's a limit of this application. You can do that in ThingLink that I'll get to next. You can upload a flat image. It would just be positioned in your 360. It doesn't show up as you click on it. And you can also change your image. Changing orientation should change where you start. So the next time I come back here, that should be. So the next time I come back, that's where the image will start for you, if you want to start at the door or things like that. There is, actually, Steve, I wonder if this is something that you were just talking about. I didn't play with this much. I guess you can download the images. It's not downloading the tour. You can also, NFTs are a whole topic that are very foreign to me right now. It stands for non-fungible token. And for some way, people are spending millions of dollars buying digital artwork. But that's kind of the very basics. They do have other items under elements, and but I think you have more control. And if you do create an element, I actually created a hotspot using an element, and it was more customizable, and I was able to go in and delete it. So I'm going to kind of move over to ThingLink.
Robin, before you jump away from the other one, can you tell us a little bit more about some of the restrictions with the free account compared to what you would get if you purchased?
Yeah. So inside of the UB Learns course, there is a spreadsheet.
Okay.
And it's down at the bottom here. So it's a resource comparison document. And so in this document, I have links to some of the pricing. So this is for Orbix. So for the free version, you have unlimited uploads of images and the number of tours. And that's, many of the other ones give you a limit of 3 or free trial for so many days. That's kind of why I selected this one, is that it's just most available for everybody. You get the hotspots, which is something that I learned. Kula was really cool, except that unless you pay them money, they don't give you the hotspots. You get text hotspots, you can add music. Things you don't get, customizing with your own URL and privacy. Right? So you can only make it public. I think that's a big one, depending on what you're doing. I didn't really care that as I'm building things, they are public. So those are kind of the main things that, it's just limited in its features. It's just the basics.
All right. Thank you. That's very helpful.
And, I'm just going to go back to some of the others. ThingLink is great, but only if you are an instructor. I should change that to instructor, not education. Because they clearly say it's free to instructors and they don't give it free to students. Students,
I just signed up as an administrator and it seemed
okay. Okay, thanks. So CJ said administrator also accounts. You can, as an instructor, add students to ThingLink. Not with the free account though.
When you're saying free for instructors, I'm assuming you mean creating content. Can students view stuff for free?
Yes, students can view what you create for free, but they cannot create for free. I think it was like $35 for a year. Teacher is 35 years, and that's for the professional version. They do give you a free limit. So you get all the free features, but then you can start adding students if you get the professional version. And the one I want to maybe alert you to, these other options are ones that I've been kind of not gravitating towards because of their free policies. Matterport has if you purchase a Matterport license, it's probably one of the most robust. It has something called the dollhouse feature that gives you like a floor plan view of the tour. But unfortunately, as soon as you say, okay, I subscribed for 3 months and I'm not going to do this anymore, they take your content. They delete your content. They don't take your content, they delete your content. So it's the most popular because it's very robust, but to me, that was a deal breaker. And here's a couple others that I didn't care for. SeekBeak, Kim, you tried this one, right? When you took the course?
Yep, I like that one.
And so they give you 3 free tours for free. It's $14 a month, which is a lot to me. So if you can use the free version, if you're only going to create a few, that's fine. These others are just a few, 5 tours or 3 tours. This go through is also pretty nice, but it's not, you don't create the tours, but it does let you upload to Street View. So it's got like a little advantage. Also, this, sometimes I hear it called easy and sometimes ESSI, but this is promoted through the Western New York Library Resources Council. That's pronounced WNYLRC. So this is a system that was developed through a SUNY IITG. And you have to be a member of WNYLRC or associated with a member of WNYLRC. And so that means, Kim, you have direct access, and CJ, because you're part of the UB libraries. But Steve and Jay, you're kind of out of luck with that one. But it does give you the ability to create tours, the ability to upload images. So you can even see what UB has. Tiff Nature Preserve. Kim, you want to talk about how that was created?
Yeah, so Carolyn Klotzbach-Russell and I, and then Brian Sajecki and Keith Nichols, they supervise kind of similar projects. We get the help, so we advertise to this Immersive Xperiences project, and I can send the link. And we have students come in and we show them how to use the 360 camera, and we help them research and identify areas significant to the Great Lakes or the waterways here in the Buffalo region. And then we send them on their way alone to create these images, and they pass them off to us. And then Carolyn and myself have been uploading them to SE here. But they also do a project on the side where they create a story map with ArcGIS story maps, or have an option to create a graphic or something that they can add to their portfolio. The link, I'm dropping it in the chat now. It's Immersive Xperiences. Ours is for the North American Great Lakes. And then Brian and Keith have one that is focused on Buffalo history. We've had, I think, only 2 students that have done this project so far. They were both for mine and Carolyn's piece, but we're meeting with a student tomorrow who would like to do this. So we're interested to meet with her.
So ThingLink is just thinglink.com. ThingLink is much more robust. It does a lot more than just tours. Actually, they just added tours in the past little while. I'm going to log out just so you can. So this is a screen. If you have not created an account yet, please create an account. Okay, so we're just going to hit create to create a tour. And you want a 360 image or virtual tour. And you can upload from your computer. We have some in Google Drive. We'll take this hallway again. So this is automatically moving it. We might have to change that. So then if I hit the edit button, my philosophy with many of these different tools is once you know the principles, then they all just kind of follow suit. So they call them a tag instead of a hotspot. And this one, you can add a label. So we can say to the lab. You can change the icon if that's what you want to do. You can, I'm going to disable that animation. I can upload audio. Okay, create tour, select the scene. So now this will go to the other scene. Done. So that'll take you from room to room.
Sure.
I'm pretty sure with ThingLink, I did not get into it much, but here you can have images and video, and this actual 360 can be a 360 video, so you can actually have people walking around in that as it's moving. It's definitely much more robust. Mm-hmm. But I just wanted to introduce that since we have people that can use it. Questions about anything?
Yeah, nothing here. Just the only one that you can really do it with your phone would be the Google one though. The other ones, like this one, I have the app and it looks like you can only upload.
Yes, so
So-
they are definitely two different purposes. The
Right.
Google Street View is taking the 360 images,
Okay.
and then the tours allow you to put those images in there and then make them interactive. There are many other apps that will allow you to take 360 images.
Okay.
I just kind of gravitated towards the Street View app. Mainly, I think I stumbled on it one day, and it was just, very easy to use. Some of the other ones, you have to keep hitting the button. I'm not sure, I haven't measured the quality of the final pieces. The Google Street View lets you publish directly to Google Street View, and that's really nice. And you can also connect them to, when it knows the GPS location, so it will put it on the map where it's supposed to go. And when you're looking at Google Street View, when you see the little blue lines, that means that somebody, whether it's Google or someone, has an image up there. So if you go to Google Maps and you have the little peg guy, is he showing up on my screen? There he is. So when you pull this little peg guy out, the lines turn blue. That means that there is an image where there is blue. And if you're in the sticks or somewhere where they haven't done that blue line,
Where do you see the blue? I'm sorry.
so when I click on the little blue guy, or the little peg guy,
Okay.
so when I click on him and pull him out onto the street, you see that Miller's Point Highway turned blue. So first, okay, so if I let go of him, Miller's Port Highway is white. If I grab the little peg man and pull him, Miller's Port Highway turns blue.
Okay, good.
So if you are in the sticks or somewhere where Google has not done their images yet, you will see those blue lines end. And if you use the Google Street View app to add images, it will eventually add it to the Street View. It doesn't do it automatically. It takes a couple days sometimes. But then you can make connections on Google Street View.
That's interesting.
Mhm. What's it? 3 minutes? Thank you. So it's kind of all I wanted to share, how to take the images. You can't take the image with many cameras. I heard today, I was listening to something that 360 is now built into the iPhone. I haven't looked into it to find out, how to do it. Well, that was with the app. So I think they're saying that in the photo application on the iPhone,
Oh, okay.
it's now a permanent part. So I have to look into it. I heard it on the way in. I did not get a chance to look into it. So, take the 360 however you want, and then put it into these tours. There are hundreds of these tour creation tools. It was really difficult just to kind of narrow down on the ones I wanted to show. And although Orbix is limited, if you have a budget, I would recommend, doing more work and trying to find out. But ThingLink seems to be my choice for somebody that can get the instructor license.
Sure.
Thank you all very much for your attention. And we will put the recording available. We'll try to chop it down to a more manageable piece. Kim, thank you. And I did pull up, Kim, thanks a lot for sharing that Story Maps link. I will put that in the UB Learns course. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's great.
So he just did a really, really nice job on creating the website. And did he get a chance to link his tours in here yet?
I don't think he did. I should touch
Definitely
base.
should.
Yeah, he should.
Yeah, he did a really, really nice job. So he's got the two separate things. So,
Thank you so much.
all right. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Thanks, Robin. This was great.
Welcome.